Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Talk Teaching podcast. I am your host, Kayla Durkin. I'm the face behind North Dakota Teaching, and it's been a minute. It has been a minute since I have released a podcast for all of you. I always say this at the beginning of every podcast that I am so sorry for the inconsistency. I honestly wasn't sure when I was going to bring the podcast back, but something has been placed on my heart that I knew I needed to get out and share with as many teachers as I possibly could. And what better way to do that than to share about it online? Recently, I have been seeing within the past couple months just more and more teachers posting videos and reels of their students online. I know that teachers have so many good things that they want to share. They want to inspire other teachers and give them awesome lesson ideas that they can do and that will work in their classrooms as well. But I just need to say that I truly believe we could do that without posting videos and pictures of our students. So today, I am going to be interviewing a teacher who came into teaching after teaching is her second career. She actually spent 8 years working in the FBI before becoming a teacher. And so she is going to just spend some time sharing with us her inside knowledge of working for the FBI and what she went through and how that impacts what we are doing inside of the classroom every single day. I think we are going to keep her profile anonymous just so that we can protect her and protect the work that she has done in the past. But I am excited to bring her in today. I think you are going to learn a lot, and I think this is going to be really informative. So I don't know what's going to come of this podcast. I can't even, I haven't recorded it yet. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I just hope I truly hope you leave this podcast feeling more informed than when you started. All right, so we are here. I have my teacher friend here with us. We kind of just rehashed some things before coming on. We really want to make sure that we keep her name, her location, everything private, just to protect her students, protect the work that she is doing now, and protect the work that she has done in the past. So I'm going to refrain from saying her name, which is kind of hard because I like to address people by name, but just know I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to make sure we protect her. So we are going to welcome her in. And when I do that, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself and, being as discreet as you can, but kind of just sharing your background of coming from the FBI, how you got into that, and then your journey into being a teacher now. And we'll kind of work through some of the things that we talked about after you share a little bit about your background.
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on your podcast. This is a subject that obviously I am very passionate about. I was a field agent for 8 years and I wanted to make a career change. And so I come from a family of teachers. And so uh, I moved back home and I went and got my master's in teaching. And I found out that I loved working with students and teaching science because that was my background when I went into the bureau. And so um, it was it just everything lined up and I'm absolutely loving it so far.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you here today too. So take us back 8, 10 years when you were in school and you originally got started with the Bureau. Like, how did all of that? Like, did you have an interest in that? How did you know that's what you first wanted to do?
I've always had an interest in like criminal law enforcement. And so when I graduated with my master's in biology, I wasn't really sure what all I wanted to do. And so I took a year off, worked in a lab, and then I ended up applying to the academy and I graduated from there. And then I became a field agent, moved around a lot, um, you know, did some assignments over the course of the 8 years. Got very close with my task force that I worked with. Um, and I love the work that I did, but it was very draining, just being on call all the time and just the emotional toll. And so I knew for my mental health, I needed to take a step back. And so that's when I um, came home and decided I wanted to do a career change. So
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I can't even imagine. I know just in that Instagram snapshot that I put up of the message that you sent me that clearly you have seen some pretty heavy stuff. And I'm hoping we can kind of dive into some of that today as we just inform teachers and parents out there. I've always said that I think parents can get as much from a teaching podcast as teachers can as well. And so I think we're just going to shed some light on a sensitive topic. So, for those of you who are listening and you missed it, last week I released a reel and I said unpopular teacher opinion. And my unpopular teacher opinion is truly that I do not believe teachers or really even a lot of parents should be posting some of these sensitive videos and topics or videos and pictures that are being posted online, especially when they are public platforms. So I know parents want to keep their family and friends from afar informed on what's going on. And I think we just really need to be sure with that who is watching us at all times. But that's going to kind of come into play today. For now, we're mostly going to focus on teachers and just kind of share that teachers have public platforms. We truly have no idea who is following us and who is watching us. And we are posting photos and videos of them online. And I think we should just first start off with the consent piece of it if you want to take it from there.
Well, I know it differs on counties. So some counties you have to sign a consent form saying that the that you allow the teacher to post pictures of your child on the county website. And then some counties say that if you don't sign the consent form, that means that you can. So it depends on your county and what its policies are. But there seems to be a lag where the technology has gone ahead of the law because even though you've given consent for your child to be on a county website, that doesn't necessarily mean that other teachers can't use it as well. And the county website, they have guards, they've got safeguards, they kind of filter people who can look at your pages versus your teachers. They may have friends who know friends who knows friends, and you have no idea who your child's teacher's followers are looking at that photo. So,
Right. And social media is a huge world. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Twitter, we have YouTube. There's a lot more things that I think I'm just too old to even know about, but teachers are posting about their students on all of these platforms. And so I think the next thing we should maybe talk about is the facial recognition piece of it, of what happens when these photos are getting posted online.
right. So criminals are always seem to be one step ahead of us, and they have facial recognition programs that are unbelievable. I mean, even if your child is not in the front of the photo, let's say he or she is way in the back and it's covered up, like half your child's face is covered up by a bush. They can actually take it, blow it up, fill in the pixels, and then run it through a program and see if that photo lines up with any other photos that are similar to it throughout any social media platform. So it doesn't take a lot for anybody to find who what who your child is based on a very small picture of a background of another photo.
And I think that's absolutely insane. And I personally, like, I don't even honestly know if I would have believed it until, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, a couple weeks ago, my husband and I went on the European vacation. And when we were in the Minneapolis airport, we didn't even have to have our passport scanned as we got on the plane. Instead, they did facial recognition. And we were just mind blown that we have these passports that are saying we are citizens and we're able to travel and whatever, we're safe people, but they didn't even have to scan them because instead they scanned our face and pulled up our backgrounds. And so knowing that that's how the travel side of it works, hearing how our guest is bringing this up today, I think it's important to know that you can put one single picture out there. And just as our guest said, they could be in the way back of the photo with half a bush covering their face, and people are still going to be able to pull them out. And so when that happens, when these pictures of these children or these students are getting posted online, what are these pedophiles, honestly, these criminals, what are they typically doing next with these photos?
Well, it's something called digital kidnapping. Um, so what they'll do first is that they'll take the photo and they'll basically like the black market. So they'll take a photo, they can make a fake profile, they can make an advertisement, and then they can sell it to pedophiles worldwide. So now somebody on the other side of the world who preys on children as a predator now has a photo of your child. Um, and that, you know, that can lead to the international network of human trafficking. They could contact someone that lives near you if they know that child. And so, because the internet is worldwide, you have no idea who knows who, and it can start here, go to the other side of the world, and then, a neighbor two doors down may get a photo of your child from someone halfway across the world through this digital black market perversion. So,
Yeah. So before we started recording, our guest told us, she's seen some pretty heavy stuff in the 8 years that she was in the field involving human sex trafficking. And I think for a lot of us, we kind of live in this bubble that we think it won't happen to us or we could never be involved in something like that. But at the same time, we're constantly seeing things circulate on Facebook or Twitter or the news where it says, don't smell the perfume in the parking lot because they're using that perfume to cause you to pass out and then they're going to put you in their vehicle. Or if you see someone hurt in the middle of the road, be really careful. And it's so sad we have to live in that world. But could you please shed some light on, or I don't know how much you can share, but can you give us any examples of like what you have seen firsthand as far as human trafficking goes?
um, so I know it's not like it was back in the day where, you worried about your kid being kidnapped at the airport and, your kid screaming and you can't find your son or daughter. That doesn't, I mean, it happens, but now criminals actually groom your child to where they will, either pretend to be a child their age or, uh, you know, put a profile on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter and kind of groom them and get that relationship beforehand. So when they do meet up, they are more willing to go. And that's the problem because now it's not like if you ask people, oh, have you seen this child? Um, I've had a lot of cases where I've gone up and I've talked to people because they were looking for a missing child, and they were like, yeah, we just saw her walk off with, this guy, but she seemed fine. We thought it was, a father and a daughter. And so, because the child thought that they were friends. So it's not like this grab and go anymore. It's more premeditative, which in a sense is scarier because it it doesn't cause as much alarm for people around when the act is actually happening.
Right. So to bring this full circle, teachers might possibly post a photo or a video of a student online, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but this facial recognition that they have could grab the other photos that are on the internet, which could
Mhm.
possibly lead them to a social media account that these students have, which
Mhm.
could then cause the predator to make the fake profile to then groom that child that they saw online.
Yes.
And that's so terrifying. So is
Yeah.
there, I guess on that topic, anything else you want to shed some light on for us?
Um, my I guess my biggest advice is just to uh make sure you know what your county policies are in terms of photos, and ask your child's teacher, like, are you taking photos? Are they online? See if your teachers have social media. See, what pictures they're putting up. Go to school board meetings. See, be a presence because you rather be proactive than reactive. And I have been on the side of reactive too many times. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where they usually won't do anything until something happens, and then by then it's too late. And I know that for teachers, we're so excited. We had this really cool activity we did outside, and we want to show other teachers that it was great and how much fun the kids had. And we're not thinking, oh, well, there may be a pedophile, that one town over who's looking at my page, and all of a sudden, like, now this kid is in danger. So I think that, you can still take pictures of activities and stuff that you did and still, maintain relationships with other teachers and, but and talk about stuff that you did in the classroom, but not have your students' photos in on your social media platform just because you don't know who is looking.
Right. And so we never know who's looking. We might have a photo posted. You actually mentioned this earlier, and I want to bring this back around as well. But tell us a little bit about the geotagging.
So basically, when you upload a photo, they can hack into it and see the location. So they'll be able to see where the photo was uploaded. And so that's another thing. Like I know on the first day of school, where we have, we want to show off our kids with a sign that says first grade or second grade and the teacher's name and the school. Um, I, in my professional opinion, I would just not put that on social media at all. If you want to take photos of it and send it through your phone to family members, that's would be a better idea because anybody could get onto your platform. They could look at the bus that's behind your child. They could look up the bus route. They now know where your child goes to school, who the teacher is, and it makes it easier for them.
Yeah, and I think something that I that's worth mentioning as well is when I posted that reel, I actually got a ton of messages. There's a few comments on there. There's maybe 10 comments on there of different opinions, whatever. But I got quite a few messages of not only are we um, not always taking parental consent into the photos, but we're not taking student consent into
Mhm.
these photos and as well. And I think we both have experiences of pictures that our students have found online, and they're like, I didn't consent to that photo being
Yeah.
on there. There are students who are old enough. I specifically taught sixth grade. My sixth graders found my YouTube. They found my podcast.
Mhm.
They knew what I was up to. And I'm pretty sure these sixth graders, these 12-year-olds, if they would have found a photo of themselves online that I had posted that I didn't get permission from them to post, which at the age of 12, whether they give permission or not, they truly can't even grasp the concept of what they're actually giving permission
Yeah.
to. So I think just trying to tie everything together. When we think about what our district's policies are, whether it's the parents have to sign saying they can be online, the parents don't have to sign, and that means that's okay with them being online. If they sign, then that means they aren't being shown online. I think we have to take all that into consideration for sure. I do love watching when schools post different photos of students. I still follow the schools that I previously taught at, and I like having that connection. But again, I'm not the creeper. I'm not the
Yeah.
trainer out there looking at them. Um, we also just need to make sure that we are taking our students' interests into account as well. So we've kind of talked about a little bit of everything here, but what big things are we missing here that we should also mention?
Um, I'm just look. I guess my thing is you just don't know the student's background a lot of the time. A child may be in the foster care system, or they may be in a group home where they, you know, need to have that security of not having other people finding out where they're at. And if, you know, I I don't know. I guess I've been on the other side of it for so long that education is an awesome world, and we live in this fantastic bubble where we love our children and we want to help them every day, but unfortunately we live in a fallen world. And I Anytime we make a single crack, that bubble becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. And I just would hate to see social media be one of the causes of the reason why a lot of the evil comes into the world of education.
Absolutely. It's so sad. It's so sad that there is evil out in this world, but the reality is that there is evil, and we the best way we can fight against that evil is just to make sure that we are protecting our students and always having their best interest at heart. And so I know we didn't plan on talking about this today, but I think you're just so awesome that you can navigate with any conversation.
Yeah.
I think the next thing that it's important to discuss is that we need to remember that our first job is not social media. Our first job
Mhm.
is giving our students the education that they not only need, but the education that they deserve too. So when we have these teachers in the classrooms taking these photos and taking these videos of our students, they're taking away from instructional time.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just a quick photo, whatever it is, you can justify it however you want, but regardless, the second that it took you to think to take out your phone to take that photo to make sure you're getting the right lighting, the right angle, whatever it is, that's instructional time that we are taking away from our students. And
Yeah.
that's not okay.
No, I completely agree with that because you need, if you're taking pictures, you're not involved, and that's you know one of my biggest things is some of my coworkers is that they're busy taking pictures all the time and taking the time to upload it while their kids are, doing a lab activity. And you're missing out on the best parts of teaching. When we finally get the time to teach and not have to do paperwork, you're missing out because you're taking photos to upload onto social media that it could endanger their lives. And
Right.
so um, I'm this probably is not going to come out right, but it's not about you. Teaching's not about you. It's not you showing off to coworkers how cool your classroom is. It's about you protecting your students.
Mhm.
And I think if the only priority you have is trying to make your Twitter or your Instagram or your TikTok, beat out other teachers, then maybe you need to reevaluate your priorities a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. We want to make sure that the time that we have with our students, we are making the most of. And I think
Mhm,
we can all agree that, I mean, even me, I don't have kids here at home or anything, but even just with my husband, I'm not always as present as I should be because I'm distracted by a device. Our
mhm,
students are the same. Our students are constantly needing to be re-engaged because of this new technology world that we have. And so we're all so distracted by these little devices that we carry around in our pockets when really we should be thinking, how can we be more present and in the moment? I mean, I think we've all had a situation where we've been distracted in the classroom and a classroom management issue breaks out, or something happens because of the
mhm.
distraction of our phone that was in our pocket or on our desk or whatever it was, whether it starts ringing on our desk and we thought it was on vibrate and we have to leave what we're doing to go turn it off, or it's us taking instructional time away from our students because we're trying to take those photos. So
Yeah.
just wanted to bring that up as well. We both of us here, we love the teachergram. We love
Mm,
seeing ideas and inspiration. We like
yeah.
looking at the hashtags and seeing what teachers are posting, and we don't want that to stop. We still want to see
No.
the cool activities and
Yeah,
lessons, but there's
and
an
all the
appropriate way.
yeah. I mean, like I said, you can still show the activities. Like, I do activities all the time because 'cause I'm a hands-on person, but I take pictures of the activities. I don't necessarily do it when the kids are doing it, and so,
And
if you
I know
still
that's true because I received a picture this week in my inbox from our guest, and she was like, "Hey, I spent a lot of time on this. I just wanted to show you it." And I thought it was
yeah.
incredible. I thought it was a fantastic idea. I think it's really going to get students involved and interested in a subject that maybe they're not as interested in. And at the end of the day, I thought it was amazing. And there weren't any photos of there weren't any students in the photo that she sent me, and it was still just as cool. So when you're doing those really cool lessons, when you have really great ideas, we still want you to share them. We still want to be
Yeah,
inspired by you. We think you're an amazing educator, and we are not saying that whatsoever. We just want to make sure that we are putting our students' interests at the forefront.
yeah.
So anything else here? I keep almost saying your name like it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. No worries. I'm just going over my notes, 'cause I to take notes. Yeah, I mean, I just make sure when, you know your county's policies, you know what forms you signed. If, if you're concerned, look up your child's teachers on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. If you see that they're posting pictures, scroll through it, or you may even want to send them an email and be like, "Hey, I noticed that you've been taking pictures of students. You know, I would rather you not include my student, or, have a talk with them, or, I know for a lot of counties, they encourage that because, you know, uh, counties like to, kind of one up each other when it comes to this kind of stuff. But, it takes one. It
Mhm.
takes one.
Yep.
And I hope to God it's not yours.
Right.
So,
And I think one other thing I forgot to mention, I do know there are a lot of influencers, if that's what you want to, whatever you want to call people that have Instagram accounts. There are people who have Instagram accounts, teacher Instagram accounts that they send home specific letters to their parents saying, "Hey, I just want you to be aware I have this social media account. Is it okay if I post from there?" And the parent might still say yes, but again, we are not putting our student's best interest at heart because our student doesn't fully understand what that means. Whether they say, "Hey, your teacher wants to post you online, is that okay?" To a little kid, that probably sounds awesome. I was actually at the pumpkin patch this week with my husband, and I overheard this little girl saying, "Mommy, mommy, take a picture of me with my pumpkin." Like kids are so proud and they want to share
mhm,
what they're working on. So, of course, they want to have pictures posted of
yeah.
them, but they don't get the extent of it either. So even if you are sending home that form saying, "I have this social media account, I would like to post your child on that account," I really would, um, I guess, advise you to maybe just do some self reflection and really think through, does removing the students from the photo really truly take away from the content that you're sharing? And, maybe like one out of 57 times it is. And you can just tell us about it, and that'll be great too.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, I know a lot of teachers have their security preferences like completely, locked down, DEFCON, but people still can hack into anything. I mean, so it doesn't take a lot nowadays to hack into any platform, and the ones that are determined to do it will do it.
Yep.
So,
And if you don't mind, I'm going to hijack this topic one more time to share one more piece of information that I really want teachers to take into consideration is, first and foremost, we're there to do a job. We are
mhm,
servants by nature. Being a teacher is being a servant. And so, first and foremost, we are there to serve our students and give them the education that they deserve. We are there to keep them safe, which means not posting their photos online. But then the other thing I really want teachers to take into consideration, pretty much anyone that has, I think it's anyone that has a public Instagram can apply for what they call Reels bonuses. And so it's just like getting paid on TikTok, but it's getting paid on Instagram. And so if you are recording really any content, but specifically content that involves your students in the classroom during your contracted hours and posting it on social media, you are now profiting off your students. And if you've done that, I don't want you to be offended whatsoever. None of what we're sharing today is meant to offend anyone. It's just meant to educate them. And so
um,
we just really want teachers to take into consideration the content you're posting and also just really think about, you are there to do a job. You are a teacher, you are on contracted hours, and you are basically double dipping. Like you're getting paid to do a job and to serve your students. And now you're posting that content online and you're getting paid for it. And I am with everyone here when we can agree that teachers don't get paid enough and we need to supplement our income somehow. And I just really want you to think about, how can you still share your inspiration, still get paid for the very cool things that you're doing, but make sure that you are not specifically profiting off your students and their photos and their videos.
yeah.
So that is, I think that's the nitty gritty for the day. What
Yeah.
are we missing? Anything else?
I I think that's it. Just be the great teacher you were meant to be, and you can do that without posting photos
Yep,
of
absolutely.
students. And so um that's you know pretty much my biggest piece of advice for that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
because you will not ever forgive yourself if something happened because you never thought it would happen to you and it ended up happening to you.
mhm.
And so
And that's the whole point of our time here today is if this podcast changes one single person's mind and saves one single life opportunity for that predator, whatever it is, if it prevents one single incident from happening, then it was well
yeah,
worth it. I
it's
mean,
well done.
that's yeah. We just
Yeah.
want to make sure that everyone is safe. We know you all have great intentions and we want to honor the work that you do and just make sure we're honoring our students and keeping them safe at the same time. So thank you so much for your time today. I wish I could tell everyone to come over and follow you and learn more from you, but just want to make sure that you stay safe and just all your background, the cool work that you did before and the work that you're doing now is so important and it matters. And we thank you for that. So thank you so much for your time
Well,
today.
thank you for inviting me,
Yeah.
and thank you.
All right. So, thank you to all of you who listened to this week's episode. We truly hope that you were able to even just take one single piece of advice. And if you have any questions, if you have any wonderings, if this isn't sitting well for you, I want you to know that my inbox is always open. I will always try to get back to you within 24 hours. That's kind of my rule. I'm a 24-hour gal. If you send me a message, I might not have all of the answers, but I will certainly try and find someone who does. If it um, involves this topic, I might possibly send it over to our guest speaker today or to someone who can just help us get some more answers and some more resources for you. So just know we are always here for you. We are always here to support you. If you need anything at all, we're here for you. And with that, I can't tell you when the next podcast will be posted, but hopefully it is sooner than later. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.